now recognize Representative Barr for your questions.
I think my colleague, Mr. Sherman, does make a good point that Congress needs to maybe make a policy decision here with respect to the economic ramifications of a cross-strait invasion, and we could clarify what the policy of the United States would be in that case, and I'd offer to work with the gentleman on that, including the most favored nation suggestion and certainly powerful sanctions in that case, and to telegraph that, frankly, to Beijing, that there will be repercussions and it will be very painful. Let me go back to Dr. Pak on the 9-line, 10-line issue. I know that, and I applaud the administration's policy of trying to bring more international consensus on this question that really it should not be a subject to debate given the UN Tribunal's 2016 unanimous determination that this is a violation of international law. But what can we do with the United Nations and these allies and partners to delegitimize China's claims on the 9-line? How can we amplify the international court ruling from the UN? I'll give you one suggestion from our Filipino partners, which was to have a resolution in Congress referring to this body of water as the West Philippine Sea as opposed to the South China Sea. Now, I know Vietnam has some claims there which could complicate matters, but what is the State Department's position on a renaming of that as the West Philippine Sea?
I don't have a technical answer to that, Representative Barr, but over and over again, we foot stomp this on the legally binding nature of the 2016 award. We do that bilaterally with the PRC, and we do it in multilateral fora when the PRC is also in that room, and that's echoed by all of our like-minded allies and partners.
Xi Jinping lied to President Obama. He lied to President Obama. I can say it, maybe you can't, but that's what he did.
And you will hear us say that loud and clear from the hilltops and the mountaintops about the 2016 award being legally binding on all parties. As you know from your trips and your conversations, the PRC has been trying to erode that and trying to delegitimize that 2016 ruling, but we will continue to keep yelling it from the mountaintops that this is legally binding.
Thank you. Keep it up. And to Das Ford, what are the solutions to pushing back and preventing further PRC buildup and militarization of the reefs in the South China Sea or West Philippine Sea? And the reason I say that is you know, the militarized Spratly Island outposts are a threat to U.S. forces in the Taiwan scenario. So preventing further militarization or artificial island building is important for the Taiwan scenario for U.S. forces moving in that 440 nautical miles north. But to have China on the south end of that. But what do we need to do to eject the Chinese or at least limit further militarization? I think that's really important for the Defense Department.
Thank you. I agree with you very much, Representative. So what I would say is the first thing that we need to do and are doing is to bring more awareness and transparency about what the PLA is actually doing in the South China Sea, including on its outposts. So that's one reason for us. We are very focused on information sharing, and we are working with allies and partners to make sure that it is more publicly known what is taking place in the South China Sea.
And let's emphasize your testimony. Advanced anti-ship cruise missiles, long-range surface-to-air missile systems, J-20 stealth fighter jets, laser and jamming equipment, military radar and signals intelligence capabilities. Not just in the South China Sea, in the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines. This is preparing for war. They don't do this other than that purpose, and that's what the American people need to understand there. I'm running out of time, but let me just ask one final question. To Dr. Pak, and I promised the Foreign Minister of Indonesia, Marsudi, that I would communicate back to Secretary Blinken on this and to the State Department. The Indonesian government was very disappointed that Vice President Kamala Harris was dispatched as opposed to the president when he was right there at the G20 and went to Vietnam. Yes, a partner, but a communist country. They are the fourth largest population country in the world and a democracy. If we want to send a signal that Indonesia is our friend, we need the president there.
Thank you. The vice president attended, and she was hugely successful. She had great meetings with Waisili. She had great meetings with Indonesian officials. As you might be tracking, the President Jokowi will be in Washington sometime in November, and so we look forward to welcoming the Indonesian government.
Thank you. My time has expired.